let's do another Meanwhile on Snapchat because, well, you deserve it. And also, I have quite a few videos piling up that I need to make for you. First of all, I have at least 2 or 3, what's the plural, meanwhiles, at least the Snapchat portion, completely recorded. I just need to do this part for you. And also, oh, you noticed, I bought myself the new Insta360 action camera. And when I buy myself an action camera, you know that means I do a Batman unboxing video. And I have this little guy, but he's the Riddler, and I don't know how to do any voices other than my own, so I'm not sure what to do with him yet. Let's get into today's video, okay? So first of all, usually when I'm making a Meanwhile on Snapchat, I need to kind of fill things. So I'll do an introduction, outroduction, just, fill up the video time. But this time, things are very different because we have a full house, chock-a-block, 5 days of videos for you on Mind OS. So we're just gonna head straight into it, but before we head straight into it, can I just give you my definition? That might help. Mind OS is what I call the window we have into the outside world as a human, when we are consciously awake and doing things in the outside world. That's the Mind OS. Good, up to speed, let's go. As you may well be aware, your consciousness isn't a big deal in this universe that we live in because you are just too small and insignificant. But something you may not know is your consciousness is not even a big deal inside your own body, because so much goes on unconsciously in the human body that we can't keep track of it. Our consciousness is a very, very small window into the outside world where we get to make decisions. But for the sake of argument, let's say it is important. Then, normally, we'd come in guns blazing into a series like Mind OS, which is exactly what we're going to do. This is the first video, so I'm not even going to tell you what Mind OS is, which cleverly allows me time to think of it. So tomorrow I'll know, because I don't yet. Good to see you. As I've always known, and as you too likely are soon to find out, your Mind OS stands for your mind's operating system. You are made up of 2 things, one of them being your mind. But before we get onto the Mind OS goodness, I thought let's take a hot second to just calm down and talk about the other thing that comprises you as an entity, your body. Everybody is born unique. You'll know this. You have your own special blend of chemicals that make up you as a person in this universe. Maybe, for instance, you have a hot temper. Or, like me, maybe you're super relaxed, nothing like a supervillain. The point is, your body is very special because your body lives out in this universe, and your mind lives in its own universe, but your body and mind are connected. So your body is the gateway into this universe for your mind. The one thing that I want you to remember before we go into the Mind OS is that you are fine. You're okay. You're okay. A lot of the time, we can separate ourselves from our bodies, and then we can say, oh geez, I'm the worst, look at me, this sucks, everything sucks. And that negative attitude is a real bad start for the Mind OS. Imagine an operating system starting up for the first time. You want it to start on a good positive step, and that step needs to be you are okay. But it's freaking hot here, so that's enough for today, I reckon. What if you started today is a thought experiment that I'd like you to do with me. But before we get started, can I just say, if there is any background noise in this video, my bad. My balcony door, which is soundproof, is usually closed but currently open. It's been freaking hot here at the moment, right? Well, this little guy decided to fall asleep while drinking water, and I felt bad, so I didn't want to close the door and wake him. Yesterday, we spoke about your body and how it is the vessel that your mind uses to interact with this world, which is pretty exciting. But tomorrow, we're going to talk about the most exciting part of Mind OS, which is creating a character. But today, start small with a simple thought experiment. I know that we are in a groove. Over time, our life has been formed into a groove that is easily repeatable, and trying to do new things is difficult because it's out of the groove. But we also know that we as a human species are basically limitless. You're pretty limited, but as a species is limitless. Here's the question, right? What if your consciousness, which is this thing that you've had over time and developed and grown over time, started today? So if you woke up this morning and your consciousness was in your body for the first time with your particular circumstances and things that make up you, what would you choose to keep and what would you choose to change? There might be certain things where you go, geez, guy, you're doing that every day. Or other things where you go, that is a good habit to keep. But just be honest with yourself. If you started today without the baggage of your past, how would you take your life forward? And keep this in your mind, because tomorrow we're going to be talking about building an actual character. So this may seem like very low-level stuff, but I promise you it is important going into tomorrow, or I think it is, I don't know. It's just too hot to think. I need to end the video now. Well, in this heat, I didn't think we'd make it here, but we are here at the piece de resistance of Mind OS, which is creating a character. Now, if you will indulge me for a second, I'd like to do a quick recap of what we know so far. You are made up of two things, your mind and your body. Your mind lives inside your body. Your body is on Earth, in the solar system, in the universe, etc. If you were a good little boy or girl yesterday, you would have done your homework and thought to yourself, what would it be like if my consciousness started today? What if I wasn't held back or weighed down by the past experiences? The reason that's going to help you today is because humans are malleable. If you were to compare yourself with another normal alive creature like a shark or a tiger or a dragon, they would say to themselves, how can I be a better shark today than I was yesterday? And they'd come to the conclusion that I was a pretty good shark yesterday, just keep doing what I'm doing. Humans are malleable. From the ages of about 9 to 12 to 29 or so, humans don't know what they're doing. We don't know who we are, where we are, or what our purpose is in life. That's where Mind OS comes in. The first step, obviously, is consciousness, being awake. Conscious awakening is the first step, because you, as a person, think to yourself, okay, I'm a person in this body, in this universe, and I'm thinking to myself. And you go, oh, hey, guy, and then you go, hey, back. So the first step is our Mind OS just booting up to the beginnings, the foundations. Here's where you're going to need more homework, if I'm honest, because we don't have these conscious awakening moments very often. But when you do, you should say, when my Mind OS boots up, as in now, because you're talking to yourself, what are the foundations that I need so you could create values or certain experiences that you need to live for, or certain rules that you live your body by. That's not a real phrase, but I'm not restarting. So you have this foundation in your Mind OS. And then, here's the fun part, right? Because you are made up of your mind and your body, you get to make a decision for how your body does something in the real world. And you get to create a character of what type of human you are that is making this decision. Here's the fun part, because in the past, we've been told things, and maybe we've told ourselves things that stick with us. And we say, this is the type of person I am. We can forget all of that and start again and say, what type of person do I want to be? And that type of person can mold, is that a word? For goodness sakes. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, right? I'm not recording this again. This is like the 757th try. Let's wrap up the series of videos that we've done over the last week on your Mind OS. Mind OS is basically the ability for you to be awake in the present moment and choose how your life moves forward from this point in time. We have learned some exciting things about humans. Humans are malleable. What that means is, us as humans don't have to be weighed down by the experiences of the past. We can choose to start afresh in our mind and make decisions on how our life moves forward. That's what Mind OS is. So when you're coming in to your mind for the first time in a Mind OS sort of way, the important thing to have is some sort of foundation. You could have a mantra that you repeat to yourself that makes sense to you, or maybe you have some life values that you live by. That's actually what I do. I have 3 life values that everything I do filters through. I want to be happy, I want to have fun, and I wish all other life well. And then everything I do or think or say, I try and filter through these 3 life values. Now, for you, it could be anything, whatever makes sense to you. But the good thing about a foundation is you can build things on top of it. So make it something that you can repeat over and over again that makes sense for you. And then your Mind OS is up to you how you fill it, because your mind is in a world unto itself. Your body, the thing that your mind interacts with into this outside world, lives in the outside world. Just like the rest of us, we live in the outside world. Now, you know, I trust scientists about as far as I can throw them, and psychologists are basically just mind scientists, right? So take this with a grain of salt. But scientists say that our brains don't understand the word not. So when you're filling your Mind OS, just keep this in mind. Try stay away from things like, I am not going to make that same mistake again, and repeating it in your head. I'm not going to make that same mistake again, because apparently your stupid subconscious hears what you say and goes, I hear you, guy. I am going to make that mistake again. And it repeats and it goes, leave it with me, friend. I am going to make sure that we get this mistake done again. And then you do the mistake and you're like, son of a bitch. So apparently, if you do things in the opposite, flip it to the positive and say, I am going to start a new path, or whatever the opposite is of the particular mistake that you make. This is all theory to me. I'm basically the happiest person you know, because I've had a head start on all these ideas that I'm teaching you. Obviously, I do them already. So I'm basically like some sort of god in your eyes. But let's not get distracted. In fact, let's end the video here, because flippin' heck, it's hot. Okay, good. You're back. But I'm leaving. So we're going to head straight into an end screen without those. This is now an end screen. What that means is the video is finished. So you can hit subscribe down below, but then hit the linked video up above. Good to see you.